Hey, wait up! An invisible wall? Oh, let's get out of here. Another invisible wall. Oh, maybe there's an exit. Hey, guys, I'm still alive. Help me up so we can listen to the podcast.
Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor.
And I'm Rena Taylor.
And this is The Trainer's Guide.
Today's episode,
The Ninja Poké-Showdown.
hello.
Hi, everybody. We are here for episode 31. Incredible.
I know, we're making it through. We are coming to you today live from an island in the Philippines.
We are off the South China Sea in Palawan. And we were in Orlando last weekend. And this weekend, we're in Manila.
It's so crazy.
It has been a whirlwind and a whirlwind, actually. Or maybe whirlwind attack is quite appropriate.
That's true. Yeah, we've been traversing the globe, and just like our trainers, we are back. We're in an area that where we are in this island is really amazing. You might hear some birds chirping in the background. We're recording inside, but might be some outside noises that come in. So just beware of that in case.
If only we could record from the infinity pool looking over the bay.
That's true.
That's the next step.
Oh.
But for now, you just have to imagine.
That's for season 2.
Yes. And just like our trainers, they are looking for the Fuchsia Gym. There's some beautiful fuchsia flowers growing. It is summer here.
Yeah.
And super, super hot. A lot of very green foliage, just like in the episode where our trainers pop their heads out of it in the beginning because they are lost.
Yes. So let's jump into this episode. This episode, I feel like some of the episodes, as we've said, are the writing is, the writing's great for all of them, but sometimes it makes more sense than other episodes. And this episode, a lot happens and not a lot happens. And I feel like it's a very packed episode just to begin with. There's just a lot happening. Anyway.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But some good jokes. Good
jokes, good things. So we start off with Ash, Misty, and Brock. They're looking for the Fuchsia Gym. They're lost again. And they basically stumble across this big building that looks abandoned, but it has all of these secret trap doors and trap things in there, like trick stuff, which is kind of crazy.
And never explained.
Yeah. Well, yes, because it turns out that it's a ninja mansion.
Yes.
And I guess that's part of the training is the trap doors.
I guess that's true. I loved that while they were lost and looking, Venonat kind of appears in the tree looking at them. And it is, I suppose, integral to the plot to get it, to lead them to where they need to be. But otherwise, it's kind of mysterious in and of itself. And as is... once they see this mansion, they're crawling across a bridge to get there, and Ash unexplainedly is terrified.
Yeah.
Crawling across, and yet suddenly they are on the other side and everybody's fine.
Right. He's like about to fall off. Actually, 2 mentions in this episode of like the Pokemon journey coming to an end. An abrupt end, because Ash is on the little bridge and he's like, if we fall off, this will be the end of our Pokemon journey. And then later he seems to fall out of the building, and both Misty and Brock are like, oh, he's gone.
He's gone. This is the end.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, oh, guys, I'm still alive.
Exactly. So it's some interesting allusions to the end of the journey with him falling into this river that's down below.
It makes me wonder if they, while they were making the series, thought it would end at any time. I mean,
yeah, maybe. And the way to end it is having Ash fall
from a building.
fall into this big creek. I
don't know.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So crazy. But also in this, there's this great organ music that makes it very scary.
It's spooky.
And kind of Scooby-Doo-ish. Misty disappears through a secret door in the wall.
Yeah.
And they have to find her. It's all strange.
Very strange. And so they get into this building. I guess also when they're lost in the beginning, we've got Psyduck is out and about, just hanging out, taking a bath in some cold water. And this is where we get the famous Misty line of just looking at that Psyduck gives me a headache.
Right.
Something like that.
And also, don't you know that cold water can increase your headache?
Yeah.
So there's some health messages in this too.
Exactly. And only Misty would know that because she is a
water trainer.
person.
Yes. Also, I think a cold compress can help your headache.
Yeah. I would think drinking cold water wouldn't help, but maybe having it on would help.
And neither would eating very cold ice cream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although it makes you feel good in your heart.
You get a different kind of cold headache.
Exactly. So we have some Psyduck in the beginning, which Psyduck's just kind of, being its true self, which is confused and having a headache and just being a bit of a nuisance. And anyway, so we get into the building and we're experiencing all of these traps. So Misty goes through a trap door. And then we see the Venonat, and Ash chases after it and gets electrocuted by a Voltorb.
In the floor.
Yes.
Because he runs into these invisible walls. Again, I suppose that's part of the ninja training, but it's never really... or it's a Voltorb thing. I'm not sure. It's not
I think
explained.
it's both, because the Voltorb's in the bottom, and then the next thing is the trap, the invisible doors, the invisible walls.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is he goes after the Venonat and he crashes into this wall. Oh no, he's trying to find an exit. And he's tapping the wall and the wall falls down into the ravine, into the creek. And he's hanging on the bottom of it. So I think it's just a series of traps.
Yes, and then they somehow magically rescue
Get him
him,
up,
which is not seen, and then he goes running again. A wall. He goes in through a trap door, and these ninja stars come from nowhere and attach him, kind of like the magician's assistant.
Exactly.
Attach him to the wall, and he's stuck there.
Right.
And that is when we meet Aya.
Aya. Yes, and she is a ninja warrior, and that's when she goes, you didn't pass my test or something in my school.
They told me 3 stupid-looking people entered the mansion, she says, which is pretty harsh, I think.
Also, she said the Venonat said that to her.
Oh,
which,
yes.
How can the Venonat say that?
Ninja.
I think, maybe she learned some mind-reading skills or something, because I don't think Venonat would say stupid.
Who knows?
Maybe that's her bias.
Perhaps.
She's interpreting it.
And it's interesting that she's wearing pink and they all say that's not very ninja-like. It's very judgy, I suppose, in this.
Yeah. But you know what? I think a ninja can wear whatever they want, especially when their mansion is extremely hard to find.
Agreed.
So,
and you want to stand out in all that lush greenery.
Totally. But yeah, so she comes in and she basically challenges Ash to a Pokemon battle, I think, basically.
Yes, that's right.
They
Bulbasaur
just
versus
start
Venonat.
battling right away. Bulbasaur versus Venonat.
And then they've got Whirlwind versus Stunspore, and then Psybeam Venonat uses versus Bulbasaur's Leech Seed, which we haven't seen before.
That is a very weird attack.
And beautiful, too, with all the vines. I mean, viney.
It's very
Vines
viney.
that attach to your victim.
And suck the energy out of them.
That's right.
Which is so crazy. And I don't know. The thing is, it's very cool that they're able to get their, battle with the Pokemon, and it's all about skill and strength. But by the end of these battles, when it gets to the point where, someone's going to win, I can't look. Like even that with the Venonat, with the Leech Seed, getting squeezed by all those vines, it's just like, oh my gosh, I just want it to stop. Like it's so...
I do agree.
I don't know. It gets to a point where it's a little too much for me to see.
I'm much more of a lover than a fighter.
Yeah, and I like the tactical skill of it. But I think once it gets to the point where the Pokemon they have no way of getting out of it.
Yes.
Then it's like, okay, it's just stop, Like I like seeing them dodge. I like the battle aspect, but I just don't really like the end part.
I guess it's more interesting than them coming out and saying, I challenge you to a game of chess. And then they all just sit quietly. All right. And then they all sit down and just start doing the moves.
You could do like a Connect 4 would be good.
That's good too. A battleship, maybe.
Yeah. Or
not Monopoly. That would take so long.
Guess who? I guess who?
I suppose so. You'd have to. Well, Dexter would help.
You could
do. Guess Who.
Yeah, you could do a Guess Who of Pokemon, and then you would be like, could your Pokemon do Leech Seed? I think the hard thing about that is that it seems like a lot of Pokemon have similar attacks.
Right.
Like the names of their attacks are similar, or that they like Stun Spore. Venonat does, and Butterfree does that.
That's
too,
right.
I think.
Good memory.
I know. Thank you.
You're on your way to becoming a Pokemon master.
I'm learning so much.
I know.
But I feel like that could be tricky because there's a lot. Anyway.
Well, so Aya's brother, Koga, comes out.
Which I thought, when I first watched this episode, I thought it was just like a ninja, brother, we're monks type thing. We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But I think they are blood relatives.
Yes. Well, she keeps calling him brother, but I feel like I
think it's not just
brother.
a like, hey, brother.
Yeah.
I think she's like, this is
they are related.
My blood brother.
Maybe they're the only ninjas in this place, but so they're related and they're working together to become
sibling mansion
masters.
House.
Yes.
Right.
So Koga comes out. They have a battle, Pidgeotto versus Venonat. I do love Venonat.
Yeah. And we find out that Koga is the gym leader of the Fuchsia Gym. And so, surprise, surprise, this ninja mansion is also the Fuchsia Gym. So we found it. It's the future. So we're at the gym. Hooray. And then, Koga and Ash are battling. And
Pidgeotto, Venonat, and then
yes,
Venonat evolves in the battle into Venomoth.
Which is pretty amazing because Brock says, oh, is that what did he say? Like I don't know. There's a move, I think, that's like an evolution move. Oh. And Misty goes, no, it just evolved,
That's right. They didn't know what was happening.
Yeah. And first of all, that's kind of crazy to think that a Pokemon could have a move that makes it evolve.
Right.
And then go back, like maybe it can change forms and then come back to itself.
Well, do you think that that's somewhat similar to a teenager getting their driver's license? That's kind of an evolutionary move.
Yeah, but if
then
it's
you
a
kind
move,
of evolve.
If it's a move, then in that analogy, the teenager would get its license revoked.
What?
Also, because I think the move that Brock was saying is that it like evolves for the
I see what you're saying.
A move in the battle and then goes back to itself. So that would be like the teenager getting their license and then hitting a car right after getting it and then
getting it taken away
or something.
Getting it taken away.
Well,
in this episode, the Venomoth does not devolve. It stays.
No. Which Koga didn't even blink an eye. He just was like, okay, Venomoth, let's go. He didn't even say like, hey, I'm Koga, Anyway, he's very hardcore. So the battle has begun. And then all of a sudden Team Rocket come. And really, this is my favorite part.
Same with me.
They truly are my favorite parts of these episodes.
This is an extraordinary moment as they are in their kabuki theater outfits.
Yeah.
And they are acting it out. It's extraordinary, again.
So they decide to go ambush the gym, as per usual. And they say there's a lot of poison Pokemon there, which also is interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't really see a lot of poison Pokemon.
We don't look up anything other than what is. We just watch the episode and go from there. So we're not consulting our Pokemon handbook, which we should actually. I'm going to get that out for the next episode. Well, the next.
Yeah.
And but Venonat.
Well, they come out.
That could be venomous.
Oh yeah, you're right. And Voltorb.
Well, it's electric.
Voltorb is like a giant Pokeball. It's so crazy. Anyway, so
that
Team
what
Rocket,
you hear right now in the background is the motorized. They have motorcycles with sidecar seats on them that you can ride around this island, and that is what you'll be hearing in the background.
What are they called?
I don't know, actually.
Oh. I feel like somebody said it and now I'm forgetting. It's the pressure of talking in front of the mic.
Yes.
All thoughts go away.
But they're in their kabuki makeup.
So they come crashing in, and then they have suddenly like a stage, and they have their kabuki makeup. They're in their outfits. They have their umbrellas, and they are acting out the motto. It's amazing.
It's so great. And you're right, full stage.
Yeah.
With a curtain and everything. It is one of the best scenes ever.
It's so great. And then they're kind of like start to rush everybody to get their Pokemon, but they fall because their dresses, they say it's hard to move in these costumes.
Right. So they have to get out.
And Jessie says a ninja mansion calls for a kabuki star. Mm-hmm. But then they go,
so great.
We need to be able to move. So, okay, let's get rid of these costumes. And so it's just perfect.
And everybody
perfect.
teams up to battle them.
They team up to battle them. And Team Rocket, I will say, put up a very good fight this time. I'm proud of them because they get these sticky webs that they start throwing at all the Pokemon.
Again, which is not fully explained in the
Never.
episode. And I'm sure someone knows what that all is about. But these webs, it's one of their best...
It's very effective.
Yes. One of their best attempts
tactics.
to... Yes, tactic, that's it.
So they're throwing the sticky webs, and all the Pokemon are caught. And none of them can do any of their attacks. Pikachu can't do a Thunderbolt or anything. Anyway, so the only Pokemon that's left is Psyduck. And so Team Rocket is, doing their thing, sticking all the Pokemon together. Koga releases all of these Voltorbs from the ceiling, and they just, in one fell swoop, just lasso all the Voltorbs together with sticky webs.
Yeah.
And are carrying them around like Santa's sack.
Balloons,
type thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
It's amazing.
James is carrying them. They get into this slanted room that's supposed to
trick everyone.
Yeah, confuse opponents.
In some ways, it's, they have those half balls that you stand on so that you're constantly shifting your weight and balancing, or sitting on that giant ball so that you're, in this, you have to remain agile so you don't tip over and roll down the slanted floor.
Yeah. I was thinking also of like Hall of Mirrors. Like it's
kind of.
You feel wonky.
But I don't, this doesn't actually keep tilting. It's just slanted.
It's just one tilt.
You have to keep switching sides so one leg doesn't get shorter than the other while you battle.
Exactly. So they are, I don't know what they're about to do, but Psyduck basically comes and is running around them with its headache, and Meowth gets really mad and kicks it, I think.
Yeah, and Psyduck does not like that.
Yeah, and basically rejects, because James is saying, let's take this Pokemon too. And anyway, you know what I find interesting now that I'm thinking about it? Is that they're only carrying the Voltorbs, but they've got Pikachu. They put Pikachu in the sticky web, but they didn't grab Pikachu at all.
No, I guess they're just going for those poison types.
Anyway, so who knows? So Misty is trying to get Psyduck to do some of its attacks, and Psyduck is not very good at it.
They're using Dexter again, so that is a great thing that we've seen in these past episodes, that we're learning more specifically about the Pokemon through the Pokédex, which is great. And Psyduck has used Tail Wag, Scratch, and then Disable.
Psyduck basically gets to this point where its headache has gotten so bad that it just stops. And then it opens its eyes, and its attacks actually work. So it does Disable, and they're like, whoa, and it's throwing them around the room, and then it hits them with Confusion, and that throws them out of the mansion.
Yes.
And into the sky.
And
once
that's
again.
it.
Yeah, that's it. And then I guess the Confusion or something else gets the sticky webs off all the Pokemon.
Right, it all kind of dissolves. And
nobody can take them off.
Right.
And that's basically it. And then Psyduck is kind of drained again. And it turns out that once Psyduck gets to a point where its headache is so bad, that's when it kicks into full gear. So, very interesting.
We've learned that, and we know that Misty now loves Psyduck.
Does Psyduck evolve into Gold Duck? Is Gold Duck?
Yes, don't get ahead of yourself.
I just was
Trainer.
I have so much knowledge. It's just coming out.
I know.
And then, so basically, what I find interesting too is that, so Psyduck basically saves the day. And Psyduck and Misty save the day. And then Koga and Aya both want to trade their Pokemon for Psyduck. And Misty goes, no, I would never trade it, even though she was trying to trade for Brock's
And we all kind of wanted her to trade it.
Vulpix. Yeah. And they're like, oh, that performance would really merit a soul badge. And then Ash is like, oh, yeah, let's battle.
Let's finish our battle from before.
And so Ash, spoiler alert, wins this battle.
With Charmander versus Golbat.
Right. Which is
we haven't seen
surprise.
Golbat.
No.
Before.
And then Ash gets a soul badge, but Misty doesn't.
That's right. And as Ash, I have to say, I deserved it.
I mean, Ash did win twice in this episode.
That's right.
And people have been saying, I know a lot of us have commented and have talked about this for a long time, us meaning the Pokemon community, that Ash, especially in this first season, didn't win a lot of the badges, like through a battle. You know, he ends up, but somebody else, well, which I will say, was saying, and I think this is a good point, Ash always has proved himself worthy of the badge because he saves the gym or he helps the gym leader out in a way that, you know, they really needed him to step up. And so he demonstrates his strength and his skill in other ways by basically saving the day and saving them.
Because it shows you that winning isn't so straightforward.
Exactly.
That you can be a good citizen and help others. And in that sense, you win.
Yeah.
Also.
But in this episode, he wins twice.
That's right.
So I guess he's making up for it.
He
but
deserves
I feel like
the soul
Misty,
badge.
The soul badge. Hey. Maybe he'll get a soul patch now that he has the soul badge.
I don't think he can grow facial hair yet, but he could.
Yeah, he is only 10. But I feel like Misty should have gotten one too.
I
don't
agree.
know. I'm just saying. I think I'm not really sure what they're doing here.
You know what? The other thing is Ash has the Pokédex, and he helped her figure out what moves Psyduck does. So perhaps that is the reasoning for it. I'm not sure. It's very loose.
I don't know, but I guess the thing is, like, Brock is a breeder, so he doesn't really want to battle. He's just kind of interested in breeding. Ash wants to become a master, but what does Misty want to do? She just
get
wants
away
to get
from her
bike
sisters
and get her bike back.
Yes, but she's avoiding the responsibility of the Cerulean Gym. I think that too is getting ahead.
But I guess in that sense, so she's not really interested in getting badges, maybe.
She's just learning. I mean, some of us, to be a student for life is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That you're constantly learning and trying new things, and that you don't, perhaps her goal isn't to win everything, but she becomes the best in a different way.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that is important. We all win, let's just say again, we all win in different ways. And you can't fully compare orange to orange. It's orange to mango, perhaps, or banana.
Pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think too, everyone's goals are different. And so how you achieve those goals are your own way. That's not a
absolutely
make sense.
I think too, this episode shows us that you should never underestimate anything. Totally. Because even in this, the mansion looks normal, but it's full of all these training spots, these training traps. And,
exactly.
Never underestimate Jesse and James. My goodness, they come up with so much. And this, they have topped it all. But I think we should never underestimate the power of each of us and how we can handle different situations and surmount the difficulties.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that this episode it's kind of twofold because Ash is so headstrong and doesn't think before he acts. And so he is the one who is getting hurt the most because he keeps running ahead of everybody else and getting hit by the invisible wall and getting shocked by the Voltorb. And so instead of looking and assessing before he moves forward, he just jumps into it. And I think that is a positive and a negative because on one hand, he needs that. I mean, the ninjas have been in this gym. They've been training in this mansion for who knows how long. And he beats both of them with not as much skill as they seem to have. And so I think part of his headstrong, let's just do it, is I think it's both a strength and a weakness. True. I think you need to have a little bit of confidence to kind of push yourself forward and succeed.
but not too much.
Exactly.
So that's where the humility comes
Gary.
in. Yes, you become Gary.
And he's annoying.
Don't be a Gary.
No, be an Ash.
Well, I think this is a good time for the Poke Wrap Up,
where we hear from you, the Pokemon community.
We asked you to send in your Pokemon memories, stories, and inspirations.
And here is this week's.
This is from Julie in Aledo, Texas. And she writes, Pokemon has made a huge impact on my life, and I wanted to share. It was my very first anime, and I remember through part of 4th grade and all of 5th grade, 98 and 99, it was just massive. We were all completely obsessed with this brand new game and show with adorable and powerful creatures, and we all instantly had our favorites, Vulpix for me. Even the cool kids liked Pokemon. Pokemon and close on its heels Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura really ignited my love of art and writing, and I ended up with a major in English and an art minor. Hopefully, I'll finally get around to making my own manga at some point and create characters that inspire others as much as Ash and the gang inspired me as a kid. Thank you for all the joy you brought to my childhood. Thank you, Julie. That was such a lovely story. I hope you do get a chance to follow your dreams. And we want to hear from all of you.
Email us a short recording or write to us at trainersguidepod@gmail.com.
And try to keep it short, maybe 30 seconds or so. We don't want to have to edit.
Oh, and please include your first name and where you're from.
Well, that about wraps up today's episode of The Trainer's Guide. And, as they say, to be continued. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey that is The Trainer's Guide.
As you know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you're listening now.
And if you subscribe, comment, and rate the podcast, it helps others find the show and keeps us on the air.
Thank you so much in advance for your generosity and all of your amazing support.
Trainer's Guide is a production of Boom Integrated.
We are co-executive producing this along with
the amazing Adrian Glover
and the incomparable Robin Lai. I'm your host, Veronica Taylor.
And I'm your host, Rena Taylor.
And this has been The Trainer's Guide. We'll see you out there on the road.